continue from yesterday evening session from the question number 60. Just open the PDF. So question number 61. You have been asked to create an SAP HANA attribute view using the tables employee left table and department right table as shown in the attached diagram. Your view should contain name and d_name of your all employees. Which of the following join type do you use? So basically it says you have to show all the names of the employees and d_. So your view should contain columns, name and d_name for all employees. So because you want to show all the employees, obviously it should be left outer join. You want to display from left side of the table. Where can you reactivate a user after too many invalid logon attempts? You can do it in there's an SQL statement. So using the SQL statement, you can do it in SQL console or in the user properties. So if you double click on the user ID, on the top you will have unlock user ID. Question number 63. How can you improve the performance of a scripted calculation view? Convert SQL code to equivalent CE functions. We should never use SQL code, means the standard SQL code. Always we have to use the relevant CE functions. Like for example, to call a column table, C_column_table, C_join, C_left_out_join, C_right_out_join, C aggregation, C calculation. So the standard SQL code should be converted to C functions. Question number 64. You're using SAP NetWeaver Business Warehouse in your company as your enterprise data warehouse. You want to use SAP BW as a data provisioning tool for SAP HANA without disturbing your BW reporting. Which of the following are the SAP recommended actions? Choose two. So without disturbing, we have to continue to use BW as the data warehousing. So which of the following are the SAP recommendation? Automate the ETL process in NetWeaver using the process chains. You can use process chain. So what is a process chain? A process chain is nothing but a sequence of chains that execute in the background to transfer data from source to target or within BW also. So basically there's the sequence of events that takes place. You keep it in a chain. So once you keep it in schedule, based on the schedule time, these chains execute. 3. Create a new info objects for SAP HANA info providers. Question number 65. You need to create SAP HANA data model based on star schema. Which SAP HANA engine is recommended for analytic purpose? OLAP engine. OLAP engine for star schema, analytic purpose. Question number 66. Which of the following objects would SAP HANA identify as the left object of a join in a graphical calculation view? So how would SAP HANA identify left object as a left object in a graphical calculation view? The object is connected to join node first. So whatever the object that you connect to the join node first, that will be on the left side. This is very important in text joins because always text table should be right element. Question number 67. Which of the following are the advantages of running SAP HANA Live embedded in SAP Business Suite? So what advantages you have on HANA Live? A. It uses generic capabilities of SAP HANA such as Access Engine. It uses the HTTP protocol to transfer data. HTTP protocol uses Access Engine. It provides real-time operational reporting. Because when you have a directly ECC powered by HANA or in the sidecar scenario, we use SLT for HANA Live. So it gives real-time operational reporting. C. It allows use generic virtual data models. The virtual data models are provided by SAP. The private views, reusable views. All the standard data models are provided by SAP. We need to enhance them and customize to our project. Question number 68. In a SQL script calculation view, one variable contains the records that are the result of a select star statement from a database table with 10 fields. You want to use this variable to populate a new variable with the same result set restricted to one of the 10 fields. That's simple. So when you want to restrict one of the 10 fields, what do? We use only a selected columns to the output. Minimal projection. Nothing but we have to use projection. So which C function do you use? C underscore projection. This is for table. This is for calculation. This is for aggregation. C projection for selection. How can you define conditions and actions in the decision table? You can use conditional expressions. You can use data operations. You can use mathematical functions. Inside the C functions, you can use condition, date, and mathematical functions. You want to model customer master data. Which of the following must you select? Master data. So for master data, what things you can do inside the master data? You can select tables as objects. You can have key attributes. So what are the two important things in the customer master data? We need to add tables to the data foundation. That is one important thing. And the second important is you need to have at least one key attribute. These things are most important. If you don't have hierarchies also, it will activate. If you don't have filter also, it will activate. But if you don't have table, if you don't have key attribute view cannot be activated. Which of the following you must use when you build an analytic view? We need to have attribute views. You can use hierarchies that are built inside the attribute views in the analytic view. So whatever the hierarchies that you built inside the attribute views, that will be visible in the analytic views. And also you can create variables. So we cannot do projections and you cannot do access analytic views inside an analytic view. One analytic view cannot be inside another analytic view. Attribute views can be used, hierarchies can be used, and variables can be used. Question number 72. You would like to authorize a user to see data in the analytic view only for company code 1000 and fiscal year 2000, or for the company code 1005 and fiscal year 2005. Which of the following achieve this requirement? So what we have to do? We have to create analytic privilege. Company code 1000 and 2000. Company code 1005. And for 2005 we need to create another analytic view. Sorry, other analytic privilege. So two analytic privileges we have to create. Analytic privileges are used to restrict data. So one here and the other one in this combination. So one analytic privilege is for company code 1000 and 2000, and one more analytic privilege for company code 1000 and 10005 and 2005. We have to create two analytic privileges. Question number 73. You want to run a report on data with multiple currencies. You want to allow end users to select the target currency at runtime. Which option does SAP recommend for defining the currency conversion? Which option does SAP recommend for defining a currency conversion? Always measures should have conversion in an analytic view. So when you want to have data in multiple currencies and allow the end user to select target currency at runtime, so measures enable for conversion in the analytic views. Which of the following are recommendations for SAP HANA modeling principles? Use complex expressions like if and case. Always do a calculation after aggregation. Filter the data amount as early as possible in the lower layers. So this is important. A design time filter. You can restrict data as early as possible in the lower layers. The second one, join tables on key columns. Always we have to make sure we join tables on key attribute of an attribute view with the foreign key of the analytic view. What is the lowest level of granularity you can use in an analytic privilege? The lowest level of granularity in an analytic privilege. So what is that? Inside a column, you can select a value. Nothing but company code 1000. So the lowest level of granularity is the attribute value. It's the attribute value. Question number 76. Which programming language do you use for SAP landscape transformation based on transformation rules? So which program in the SAP landscape transformation we can use ABAP? We can use ABAP to do conversions of data in SLT. Question number 77. Which engine in the analytic view executed that contains a calculated column? So what engine executes the calculated column on the calculation engine? Also you can use an OLAP engine. You are using a SAP landscape transformation to replicate data into SAP HANA. Which of the following can you use to define the schema that the replicated data populates? Configuration and monitoring dashboard. So this is the old T code. This is a little old question, but now the latest one is LTRC. LTRC. You can create the configuration and create connections between source and target. Question number 79. You have SAP NetWeaver BW Business Warehouse on SAP HANA system installed on multiple nodes. Which of the following information objects are stored on the master node? So basically in a distributed landscape, you see yesterday we discussed about the architecture of SAP HANA. Multiple components are running on multiple clusters. So what data is stored on the master node when you have BW powered by SAP HANA? You have ABAP system tables. All the ABAP system tables will be on the master node because the application server should be up once the database is up. The last question from HANA IMP 3131. Which of the following criteria indicates that you should store data in row tables? Which criteria does it indicate? One is the tables require frequent write access. So the most important is the priority is given to write access than read access for row tables, especially system locks, continuous writing of system locks into tables. So that's why the tables that can hold system data are row tables. The information models require needs to access complete record. So when you want to access only few columns from a table, then we go for a column store. When you want to access complete record all the columns of a table, then the best practice is to go for row store. A single select one row, all columns. Set processing, few columns, all the data in the columns. Row store and column store. Always single select for row store, set processing for column store. So this is the end of HANA IMP 131 paper. So around 40 to 50% of the questions that we see here will again repeat in HANA IMP 151. So 131 is the base for 151 paper. The 151 exam is the latest exam, so that we are going to start shortly. We're going to start that paper shortly. If you have any questions in this paper, please ask me. We can discuss. Until here, any participants have any doubts, please ask me. We can discuss on that. So all the questions are very straightforward questions, except I think 6 or 7 questions are scenario based, but otherwise all the questions are very simple, very straightforward. Next question, what is BEX? BEX is nothing but it's a reporting tool in BW. If you remember, when we did a exercise for transient providers, when doing BW powered by HANA, we use transient providers. Then we use BEX analyzer. BEX analyzer we use for reporting on transient providers. So I will share the 151 dump also. I'll share the 151 dump. Okay, so we start with 151 paper. So question number 1. You created a procedure that includes an SQL statement to delete invalid records. When activating the procedure, you receive an error. What are the most likely reasons? There are two correct answers in this question. Your SQL statement include with result view. Your SQL statement includes reads SQL data. So when you have the error to create a procedure for invalid records, SQL statement to delete invalid records, either you have with results view or reads SQL data. So this is belong to security. So in the plan visualization perspective, which functions can you use to identify long running parts of the query? So in the visualization plan, how can you identify timeline? And I also have network view. Timeline you have on the left, also network view. You can, based on this, you can identify the performance. What is the prerequisite for implementing SAP HANA DXC to provision data into SAP HANA system? So one of the most important in DXC is you need to have at least one primary key as a key field in the data source. We need to have one primary key in the data source. You need to have key field defined for the data source. What do you do to set up SAP HANA Live in the sidecar scenario? Two important things. You have to configure schema mapping and replicate source tables. In the NLT views, you define a calculated column and want to set calculate before aggregation flag. The flag is visible but it is grayed out. Which setting do you need to change to be able to set the calculate before aggregation flag? You need to have at least the data type as integer or decimal. Only then you can set the aggregation flag. This is straightforward. In which case must you have to use a calculation view? So when do you go for a calculation view? To join several fact tables where the measures are selected from different fact tables? Yes. So select different fact tables, multiple fact tables, measures coming from different fact tables. Which of the following are recommended SAP HANA modeling principles? Again, this is a repetitive question. Please see, the questions are being repetition. This question. So, best practices for modeling principles. Filter the amount of data as early as possible. With which of the following you can consume a decision table? You can consume a decision table using calculation views or using stored procedures. So both of them you can use. You can consume decision tables. Your data model use hierarchies. Which of the front-end tools can you access these hierarchies? Again, this is a repetitive question. Business Objects Analysis Edition for OLAP and SAP Business Objects Analysis Edition for Microsoft Office. Next question. Which of the following nodes do you use to implement filters in a graphical calculation view? So how can we implement filters? So you can use projection or aggregation. So inside them you can implement filters in the graphical calculation view. Which task can you perform from data provisioning view from HANA Studio? So you can do start replication, you can resume replication, you can start one-time data load from the source system. You cannot apply transformation rules or you cannot apply filters on data. Next question. In your graphical calculation view, you are consuming an existing analytic view. The analytic view exposes some data that you do not want in your graphical calculation view. You cannot modify the analytic view as it is being used in other model. Which node do you use in your graphical calculation view so that you can implement a restriction based on unwanted attribute values. So what you can do, you can use a projection. If you want to deselect unwanted, attribute values, you can use projection to skip those records. Next question. What are the valid format for storing geospatial data in SAP HANA? I think we discussed this question. When you create a table, you have different geospatial data types. When we discuss on SQL, we discuss about geospatial analysis. So what formats does geospatial analysis support in SAP HANA? So you can use ESRI shapefiles, you can use binary, also you can use text. So these are the predefined data types that SAP HANA provides to support geospatial analysis. Which language do you use to create input streams and queries inside SAP HANA Smart Data Access? You can use CCL language. So there is a language called CCL, an event stream processing, computation continuous language that is used to manipulate data in ESP, event stream processing. Which of the following programming languages can you use natively in SAP HANA stored procedures? You can use three languages. L is an imperative language, SQL script, and R language. Java and ABAP cannot be used inside native HANA. Which of the following business operations does SAP HANA Live deliver? SAP HANA Live. Which of the following business operations does SAP HANA Live deliver? Operational reporting is correct. The other three are wrong answers. So here you need to correct this answer. Here it is checked as layered scalable architecture. This is wrong. This is also wrong. This is also wrong. A answer is not given. So the most important is please correct this answer. For 16th is operational reporting, not scalable architecture. All these are wrong answers. This is the correct answer because you see which business operations does HANA Live deliver? Operational reporting. HANA Live supports operational reporting, ECC powered by HANA. Instantly you can see data and do analysis. Question number 17. You want to convert the revenue based on currency that is provided by the end user in the report. How can you model this scenario in SAP HANA Studio? So you can use a graphical calculation view with a measure that has a default semantic type as an input parameter, or use an analytic views with measure a semantic type amount with currency as an input parameter. So the end user will be able to the end users can be able to a developer can be able to achieve this requirement using an input parameter. SAP HANA Live model name is displayed as an invalid view in the list of models in SAP HANA Live browser. What could be the reason? The model is missing the underlying tables, means they are not active. The models are not active, and the model is missing a dependent view. So simply is model is not active, that's why underlying tables may be missing or dependent views may be missing for activation of data model. Which of the following are the recommended SAP HANA modeling principles? The same question again. Reduce data transfer, join tables on key columns, minimize data transfer between engines. reduce, join on key columns, and minimize data transfer between engines. What are the need to consider when modeling a level hierarchy in the attribute view? Different nodes must have corresponding to different columns, yes. In the level hierarchy, each node identifies one column in the hierarchy. In, in an SAP HANA SQL script procedure, you have filled two variables tab1 and tab2 with the tabular results. The whereout variable needs to be populated with a join tab1 and tab2 on a field 1. Which syntax would you use? So when you want to fill join on tab1 and tab2, so what is the syntax for join? Syntax for join is whereout is equal to C underscore join table 1 table 2 key field. Join on the key field. In an analytic view, you need two different logical joins from the data foundation to an attribute view. The analytic view already contains an attribute view, but you have to use the attribute view again. To which of the following do you connect the second join? We know this is a repetitive question again from 131. Derived attribute view, a copy of an attribute view. Which of the following options can you use to export SAP HANA content? So how can you export HANA content? Either you can use developer mode or a delivery unit mode. This is for individual and these are for set of packages. In a scripted calculation view, one variable contains the records that are the results of the select statement from the database table. You want to use the variable to populate a new variable with the number of occurrences for each distinct value in one of the fields of the table. Which C functions do you want to use? So if you want to select the occurrences of the column, you can use count. So where is count available? The aggregation type count in C aggregation. You want to find out how many times the occurrence has occurred, you can use count in C aggregation. You have to join two tables in data foundation, a sales order header table on the left table and sales order item table on the right table. You want to display all sales orders including those that do not contain sales order items. Which join type should we use? Obviously left outer join. Which of the following can be identified using the HANA Live browser? HANA Live browser can identify what? You can identify missing tables, information view type using in SAP HANA Live models, source table consumed by SAP HANA Live models. A straightforward answer. Prior to modeling in SAP HANA, you want to validate referential integrity between two very large tables in SAP HANA database. Which SAP HANA tool would you use? Again, same question from 131, SQL console. What are the prerequisites to perform a union all on two tables? Both tables require one key field with the same data type. Which of the following steps does SAP HANA Landscape Transformation or Replication Server perform to replicate data from non-SAP systems to SAP HANA? So what is the difference between SAP to SLT and non-SAP to SLT? So the two difference, one is a DB connection instead of an RFC connection. The second part is the read module is always on the SLT server. Read module is on the SLT server, not on the source system. So execute the read modules in the SLT replication server Create the logging tables within the source system. Yes, logging tables are on the source system and read modules are on the SLT system. Which of the following in SAP HANA objects can be exported using a delivery unit? So what can you export using a delivery unit? You can export procedures, you can export whatever you have in under the package. The things that you have in under the package, like views, procedures, decision tables, calculation views, everything can be exported. Table contents and users are not exported using the delivery unit. So until these 30 questions, anyone have any doubt? Before we go to another 30 questions, you can ask me. These are also straightforward, only that two questions are new questions that we did not see in the regular sessions. One is the CCL language that we're going to use in ESP, Event Stream Processing. So that is a separate process which comes in Sybase. In Sybase, you have ESP, Event Stream Processing. There's a separate consultant altogether. You can integrate some of the Sybase for doing IoT, Internet of Things with HANA. That is, you can manipulate data using CCL. The, the second one is the geospatial analysis. You want HANA supports geospatial analysis. For that, you have special data types in the table. Let me show you. Let me go to HANA Studio. So log into, let's log into expand the catalog. Let's go to the schema, expand. Let's go to tables, expand tables. Table you have special data types like st point, st underscore point, st underscore geometry. So all these are special data types for geospatial analysis. Okay, so we'll discuss next set of questions. Okay, question number 31. You use the following function in the scripted calculation view, a C aggregation where 1 sum column underscore A as column A, column B as comma column C. When you would activate an error occur. The two correct answers to this question. So what is that it is missing here is when the column underscore A and column underscore B fields are missing in variable var1. And second one is when the column underscore A field is a text field. So column underscore A is a text field and both are missing in the variables. By using predictive analytics PAL, you want to develop a application to predict flight delays. You want to determine the strongest predicator based on historical flight delay data. What predictive analytics method do you use? We use decision tree table. So based on decision tree table, so this is in PAL language. You have a language called predictive analytics library in SAP HANA. By using this decision tree, so these algorithms are mostly same in most of the softwares. By using decision tree, we can identify. You create a procedure with the tabular output result. Which of the following objects do you need to create to activate this procedure? You require a table type to activate the procedure. Yeah, you have to import some information model into your HANA system. The authoring schema of these models differ from the physical schema in your system. Which activity do you need to perform in the SAP HANA Studio before importing the information models? Schema mapping. A new user has implemented SAP HANA data model. With the technical user requires select writes on the new user schema. So new user schema always require underscore sys underscore repo writes. Select privilege on underscore sys underscore repo. When using SAP HANA DXC, what do you have to do to schedule a regular data load? When using HANA DXC, what do you have to do to schedule a regular data load? What do you have to do to schedule a regular data load? All these answers are wrong. None of the answer is correct. To schedule a regular data load, we have to use process chains. All these the answers that are here are completely wrong. Create data flow is not the right answer. Please write down the right answer for 36 is create process chain. DXC, by using process chains for DXC, you can schedule data loads. You can schedule the regular data loads. Process chain is the right answer. Process chain. Next question. What is the main difference between a local temporary and global temporary table? Please choose an correct answer. So both table definitions are visible for all the current sessions, but data stored in local temporary table is available only in the session that it creates this table. Correct. So they're asking the difference. So local only contains only particular for that session. How can you create a new schema in SAP HANA? So what are the ways you can create a new schema? Use an SQL statement in the HANA Studio. So what statement? Create schema. Add a schema mapping to the quick launch view and import an information model. So this is also wrong answer. So this is the correct answer. Add schema mapping, a quick launch, and then import. So all these three are wrong. It has only one correct answer here. Use an SQL statement in the HANA Studio. Then SQL statement. Okay, you want to create sales analysis by combining your customer master data with the transactional sales data. How do you model data to ensure best performance? The same answer. Model transaction data in the data foundation of an analytic view. Model master data in the data foundation of an attribute view. And join both of them in the logical join of the analytic views. Straightforward answer. Which SAP reporting tools always use Universe to analyze data in SAP HANA? So there are two tools. You need Universe to analyze data. One is Web Intelligence, the other one is the dashboards. You have an analytic view with the attributes region. These regions where your country is activate. You have an analytic view with the attributes region. The regions where your country is active. Regions where your country is active. Okay. And the countries in each region. The view contains the measured number of employees. The number of employees for each country. You want to add an additional column in the view that contains one of the values below. -1 for countries inside the region Europe and the number of employees for countries outside the region Europe. So how can you achieve this? So simply you can create what? You can create an expression. You can create an expression saying that with the if statement, if region is equal to US, so you can create a calculated column with the expression here. So what is the expression? So you can create a calculated column with the expression if region is equal to Europe -1 and then the number of employees. So the simple expression we have to create to achieve this requirement. So which SAP HANA Studio function displays the views that will be affected when you rename an attribute view? So how do you know whenever you change an object by using where use list? You can use where use list to know what objects are affected. Which object is included in SAP HANA Live Virtual Data Model? Private views. Private views are the views that cannot be changed. In the virtual model, where is the value help view consumed? In the input parameters in the reuse view. They're available in the input parameters in the reuse view. Which of the following can be grouped when multiple schemas exist in SAP HANA DB database data tables? You do not able to extend a view using SAP HANA Live Extension Assistant. What could be the reason? So when cannot extend a view? When you have union, the view is a custom view. We cannot extend. For custom views, we cannot extend when you have unions inside a standard view. What do you use to filter SAP Business Suite data? By current session client is a scripted calculation view. So you want to filter, you can create a session client in the where clause. You are authorized via an analytic privilege to view Europe and USA data in a calculation view for sales, and via a secondary analytic privilege to view Asia and USA data in the calculation view for income. Income uses calculation view sales as an input. Both views are analytic privilege relevant. What data can you visualize when consuming the incoming calculation view? Where the consuming the income calculation view. We're authorized, on it. We're authorized via an analytic privilege to view Europe and US data for sales and Asia and US data for income. Income uses calculation view, sales as an input. So both views are analytic privilege relevant. What data you can visualize when consume the income calculation view. So when consuming the income calculation view, you can see data for Europe, you can see data for Asia and USA. So you can see income for all these three regions. Which of the following can you include in an automatic generated document? So only views can be included for documentation, auto documentation. Which SQL syntax allows to perform freestyle search? Nothing but fuzzy search. So you can use fuzzy. So what is the fuzzy search? What is the fuzzy search? Please see, when we go to Google, you see, if we go to Google, in Google, if I basically type, let's say SAP, you see, it's trying to propose SAP HANA or something, SAP HANA or SAP HANA or HANA or S4 HANA, S4 HANA. The system is actually proposing keywords. So this is system is doing a fuzzy search. System is doing a fuzzy search. Where are we? So which in SQL syntax allows you to perform freestyle search. You can use contain patterns using the fuzzy search. Which of the following SAP provisioning tool read the source system database logs for delivering data in SAP HANA? Which of the following SAP provisioning tools read data from source system database logs? This answer is correct. To read database logs, we use replication server. I don't think so. This is the right answer. Smart data integration. This is wrong answer. Only SAP replication server is correct. Data services cannot read database logs. Smart data access cannot read database logs. SLT operates on the application layer. So replication server, this is for high availability and disaster recovery. So you can replicate database logs to up the database. So you're writing an SQL script statement, SQL script select statement to display data from an analytic view in the SAP HANA Studio, from where you drag and drop the runtime objects you want to reference in the SQL console. You're writing an SQL script select statement to display data from an analytic view in the SAP HANA Studio, from where you can drag and drop runtime objects. Okay. So he's talking about column views. So runtime objects are the column views from where you can drop. You can drop from _sys _BI schema, BIC schema. So BIC schema consists of column views from where you can drag and drop. Which of the following tools can you use to load data into SAP HANA from data source extractors? You can use data services, you can use DXC. Which SAP HANA cloud offering you can use to host your business suite powered by SAP HANA? SAP HANA Enterprise Cloud. You can use to host business suite on HANA. Which of the following are the benefits of SAP HANA Live? Improve transparency of data for SAP applications. Improve quality of analytics with real-time data. You have imported data into SAP HANA from an SAP ERP system. The data contains records for clients 100, 200, and 800. How do you ensure that calculation views based on this data only displays records for one of the clients? So you should only display data for one of the clients. What are the correct answer? Set the default client in the properties of the semantic node. In the semantic node, you have default client. You can set there, or you can create a restricted column by using $client variable. You can create a design time filter. You can create a filter by using a $$ variable. So when you create a restricted filter, what happens is you're trying to filter for only few measures, but not for the entire view. Yes, even you can use this also. Create a restricted column by using $$ variable, because restricted columns are only based on few measures, few attribute values. So what is a restricted column? Restricted columns are based on measures and attributes. So you can display few measures for that particular view. So the attribute would be MANDT. For restricted column, the attribute would be MANDT. On MANDT, you'll restrict to $$ language. Sorry, you'll restrict to $$ client $$. What can you validate with the validation rules in SAP HANA Studio? What can you validate with validation rules in SAP HANA Studio? Large object data types. When you have blob, clob, any large object data types, you can identify those objects. A colleague has saved changes in a calculation view without activating the changed view. Which privilege would you need to activate the change? You need repo work underscore in underscore foreign underscore workspace. If you have this, you can activate your colleague's information view. Also, you can achieve this by using, we have an option in the HANA Studio. Let me show you. There's another way to do this also. In the HANA Studio, you can also use switch ownership. So when you use switch ownership, you can switch from one owner to a different owner. So basically, you can select inactive information objects that you want to take over the other user. When you want to activate inactive information models of the other user, you can use switch ownership and also activate. Or you can give repo for work underscore in underscore foreign underscore workspace. Which of these reporting tools can consume hierarchies? Crystal Reports Enterprise can consume. So whatever supports MDX, whichever support MDX, you can use So Crystal Reports supports MDX. Business Objects Analysis supports MDX. Design Studio supports MDX. So which of the following connections is used for reporting in Microsoft Excel via SAP HANA MDX provider? ODBO. ODBO is what? We can use for Excel to communicate to HANA. So we see 60. So rest of the questions we can see in the evening session. So I will keep this document in the Dropbox. So once the session is completed, I will keep this document in the Dropbox so you can access this document. And 100% from 131 and 151, 90% of the questions will come. No doubt about it. 90% of the questions will come. You can read, remember, because we except overall, if you see from almost 80 plus 80, 160. From 160 questions, probably you may find one ESP and then database logs, replication server, and then freestyle search, and then geospatial analysis. Except 4 to 5 questions, all the questions we discuss, except 4 to 5 questions in the regular session. So please go through these documents. This will be very helpful. Even you can also understand where you are in the learning process. But 90% of the questions will come from this questions. So this document I'm going to keep in the Dropbox once the session is completed. So I'm going to keep. So please be thorough with 131 and 151, and you can write the exam. So next week you can take up exam. Any questions, any doubts you have after you read or something, please call me. Please call me to 7799991129. After you do practice, you have any questions, please do call me. We can have a discussion on the phone call. From 9:30 a.m. till 10:30 a.m. IST, please call me. We can have a discussion. No problem. The rest of the questions we'll see in today evening. Same time, we start at 7. And we can discuss rest of the questions. Okay, then thank you everyone. I'll see you today evening at 7 p.m. Thank you.